Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the PMRL Racing League. We are here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the 5th round of the series this season, for season number 4, after the Indy 250 last week, where Jesper Ullman secured his second crown of that running of that race. We are here at Mid-Ohio once again. We were here last season too, and we are back on the road and street courses just for 1 week. We go back to an oval next week, but this is another permanent road course on the schedule here for PMRL. Looking at the track map right here, 13 corners as you can see, which is a very interesting layout to say the least as well. Turn 1 is very fast, and we've got a slow turn 2 hairpin going into a very fast and sweeping turns 4, 5 and 6 complex, and then leading into 7, 8 and 9. 10, 11 and 12, which is really slow. Then 13, very difficult to get on the power, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of racing product we're going to get here tonight. But as I said, 13 corners, 8 to the right, 5 to the left. Pit lane speed 45 miles per hour, 72 kilometers per hour. Track length 2.25 miles, 3.62 kilometers. And of course the push to pass is back in service here on the road courses in the IndyCars, of course, for PMRL. So that's going to aid overtaking down the straightaways, especially down into turns 1, 2 and 4. It is possible to use it on the run up to turn 10, 11 and into 12, but it's not really recommended, is it? So, going into this race, let's take a quick look at the points standings heading into this event. Looking at the drivers first, we got Jesper Ullman, who is only 5 points clear now of Will Lyon. He took over the championship lead last week at Indianapolis after winning, of course. Will finished 5th. Then we got Seb Alexander, who moves up into 3rd, and he is the second IR driver in the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship. Then we've got Sam Moyle and Leo Garibaldi running off the top 5 in the Drivers. Then looking at the teams, we got SMS Racing, just 7 points clear of Indy Alliance Racing. And SMS Racing has mostly secured 1-2 finishes on the road courses, and has been very near the podium as well on the ovals. So very impressive that Jesper Ullman basically is carrying Indy Alliance Racing. Of course, he got the most points for the team in total right now. So those are the championship standings going into this race. We are currently in the warm-up session, which gives us time to quickly talk about the schedule before we go green, and also some sponsor information. So let's start off with the schedule. Of course, we are at Mid-Ohio today. We are over the halfway point in the season. Next week we go to Michigan for the second Triple Crown race there of 250 miles, so 125 laps coming up at Michigan. Then we have a week off until Pocono, 100 laps there, 250 miles on the 14th of September. Then Road America on the 21st. So that's the remainder of the schedule. And like I mentioned, we also have some sponsored stuff to talk about. Of course, Voppzy iRacing paints as usual. Vilda Wallen on Instagram, Voppzy lowercase iRacing, does these amazing iRacing paints, which of course you can check out there on Instagram. And also, if you're interested in getting a paint, you can contact Vilda on Instagram. Voppzy lowercase iRacing is how you can do so. So going into the warm-up session here, we have just a few minutes left. In fact, we have half a minute left of that warm-up session. It is currently Connie Naslund who is fastest out on track in front of teammate Jesper Ullman. Andreas Eichen 3rd, Daniel Dinsdale 4th and Will Lyon 5th on the time charge. As we bring up the lap times right here. 1 minute 8 are going to be the race fuel lap times. So that's just an indication to expect here today. So of course we are just going to wait a second for the cars to grid up, and we'll go over the starting grid. We should have a short pace lap here today at Mid-Ohio. So going into turn 10 we should roll up the hill, then into turns 11, 12 and 13, and we go green right away. Of course, unlike real life, we start at the start-finish line where it's timing and scoring as well, and not the alternate start line that IndyCar uses in real life. So getting ready to go green here in just a moment. We'll bring up the starting grid right now, as it is going to be Daniel Dinsdale, 1,000th of a second clear of teammate Will Lyon for SMS Racing, so they are on the front row. Then it's Indy Alliance Racing on row 2 with Connie Naslund and Jesper Ullman. Then we got Matthew Levine for SMS Racing in 5th. Joel Aguilera in the 6th position. I apologize, it's difficult to pronounce a new name. Welcome to Joel to the league, by the way. He's a new driver. Andreas Eyck and Sam Moyle on row 4 for Team Talent and Taylor Mills Racing. Then we got Cesar Cabral in 9th, Taylor Mills for Taylor Mills Racing, of course. The team captain in 10th. Then we got Brandon Robertson, Seb Alexander, Christian Flaker, and Jalberilla Garcia gonna be on the 7th and final row for Team Matzinger, with Jessica Saban, of course, being a league admin. So that is the starting grid as the field is getting ready to go here for 52 laps around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And looking at a mixed bag of tire compound choices, we got the top 5, excuse me, on the reds. Then we got Matthew Levine and Sam Moyle on the primaries, as well as Taylor Mills. Then we have 3 other alternate runners. And then Brandon Robertson, Flaker, and Garcia are all on the primary tires. So here we go. SMS Racing on the front row. Pace car is in. Very quick green flag, and there it is already. We are underway at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Ehrman already looking to make a move. Matthew Levine is right there as well, looking to take over that 3rd position from Jesper, who has gained a position off the start. But Levine trying to go for another one here. Around the outside, gonna try to make it a 1-2-3 for SMS Racing. Late on the brakes on the primary tires. Gonna go around the outside here into turn 6. Jesper hanging it tough though on the inside now for the next bit as Levine pulls off the pass. Takes over that 3rd spot, so it's SMS on the first 3 positions. As Naslund has already gone into the pits, probably had enough. As it's Dinsdale still out in the lead in front of Will Lyon. Looking further back, Cesar Cabral losing a little bit of ground to Sam Moyle up ahead, who locks up by the way. The inside front going into turn 12, but at the end of the first lap it is still Dinsdale from Will Lyon, Matthew Levine, Jesper Ehrman, Aguilera, Moyle, Cabral, Mills, Alexander and Robertson. That's the top 10. Then we've got Flaker, Garcia, Eyck and Naslund in the 14th position. Andreas Eyck also slipping back loads of positions, and so is Connie Naslund, who has gone into the pits already, as I mentioned. So let's go back to the opening lap and see what happened to those 2 drivers. It's Andreas Eyck on the inside, and that's Cesar Cabral hitting Andreas Eyck on the rear. And Andreas has a little bit of damage, it seems, on the side pod. Tries to rejoin the circuit there, which he does in 13th place. Let's have a quick look at what happened to Connie Naslund, if we can. And it seems like Connie Naslund has started from the pits. Maybe some technical difficulties for him there, which meant that he couldn't properly take the green flag. But either way, we got 13 cars still running on the lead lap. The 14th car that attended this race, Naslund, is already out. As SMS Racing continues to be in the top 2. As Levine has slipped back to 4th again. Jesper Ehrman getting back by. We'll quickly cover that move for position, which we missed as Ehrman just locks up the front. And Levine on the outside here pulls off the pass back again. As these two have a lovely side-by-side battle. Oh, as we have another car locking up, that is Aguilera in the 21, making his first appearance in the league today. And Matthew Levine actually under pressure from Aguilera. Let me correct myself right there. I'm not sure what happened to Levine. It's a little confusing at this point because we were looking at the replays, but trying to figure this one out. So Levine on the primaries, of course, and the top 3 all on the alternate tires. We also got Aguilera on the reds. So it might be a case of the primaries not being the faster tire at the moment, which honestly quite surprises me because Mid-Ohio is a very fast track. Really does eat up the tires quite a bit, you would think, because of the high speeds around this place. But the Reds very much the faster compound at the moment. Let's take a quick look at the weather for this race. 32-degree track temperature, which is the most important thing to the tire wear. Of course, the higher the track temperature, the more it will wear. But Look at the conditions just above the track temperature. Cloudy skies, which will help the red tires stay in their operating window. And there we go, push to pass for Aguilera on the outside, going into turn 6. Turn 5, sorry, going into turn 6 now. As Levine loses that spot now to the 21. Very nice clean move. Up 2 spots from the start. Jesper Urman up 1. Then it's up 2 for Cesar Gabriel and Sam Moyle, both as they go side by side now. In the middle portion of this lap, as we got more cars joining this battle, there's contact between Cesar Gabriel and Sam Moyle. But both of them able to keep the car on the road, mostly anyway, as Cesar Gabriel did take a trip through the grass, mowing some grass there, but still on the track and still going. As Taylor Mills is struggling as well under the brakes, going into turn 12. Very difficult to slow the car down right there. But Taylor, she manages to do it. And don't ask me how, but last week I somehow forgot to pronounce for Taylor, and of course it's she, her. So, yep, there we go. Got that corrected too, as we got more battles going into turn 2 now. That is Taylor Mills and Sam Moyle, the 2 teammates, battling it out for position. Mills now up 3 spots, sorry, into 7th. Sam gonna lose another position maybe to Seb Alexander. Nope, just has a little look though, but nothing more than that. As this is a very nice, entertaining battle for position right there in the back of the pack. As we go on board here with Brandon Robinson. Tiptoeing his way around the final portion of this lap. This corner right here, turn 10, is very difficult to get on the power because it goes downhill. The rear end gets really light and wants to step away from you. As we have a car off again, that is Taylor Mills in turn 12. Last lap, Taylor really struggled under the brakes, and I think again that was the case as she locks up and goes straight on through the grass. Rejoins the track without any damage, but will be 19.8 seconds behind the race leader going into turn 2 right here now. So not a great start for Taylor Mills, as more cars appear to be locking up, so perhaps the brake pressure being a little bit too high for a few of these drivers. But at the front though, it is still SMS Racing in 1 and 2, the first and second positions. Those 2 running away from Jesper Urman, who of course is the main championship rival of Will Lyon, who is just 3 seconds in front of Jesper. And yes, it was technical difficulties for Connie Naslund at the start, connection issues, he just confirmed in chat, so unfortunate to see your day end early. As Garcia runs quite a long way off the pace. Did go off track on lap 2 times, let's see what happened to him. Going into turn 12, I believe this is, goes straight on, locks the inside front, much like Taylor Mills did, doesn't hit anything, so he is good to continue without damage. And I think he did the same at the end of the lap as well, so going off twice there is the 18. But back towards the front again, or further towards the front I should say. This battle for what really is P6, even though Gabriel is about 2 seconds clear of Alexander right now. These guys all running very closely together, less than a second separating all of them. And less than 3/10 of a second separating the 2 leaders. Of course, we've seen some issues in the past when these 2 raced against each other. Barbara Motorsports Park last season, the season opener. But so far so good, clean and green tonight. So of course a 52 lap race, which will bring me to the fuel mileage of this race. Should be about a 16 lap fuel window for these cars here today. Pretty sure we also have 80% fuel tanks for this race specifically involved as well, which will spice up the strategy a little bit. It's something different compared to most of the season where we do run a full fuel tank. But of course Mid-Ohio is such a short track. If you limit the fuel capacity, it can actually really improve the racing. So hopefully that will be the case tonight. But quickly going back to last week's race at Indianapolis, we do have some more social media presence right now about that race and going forward as well. Of course, if you want to and you have Twitter, follow us at official PMRL, where we will post race results and a little bit more about the league itself. Of course, we have also a tweet up about the race summaries or the race notes, however you want to call it, with some beautiful pictures from Vilde Wallen as well, by the way, which she does for the league. But some quick stats about the race last week: 22 entries, 26 lead changes, 2.3 SOF. Pole sitter was Andreas Eich with 228 miles per hour, which is 39.4 seconds. Sorry. Green flag running, 97 laps of the completed 100 laps, which is 97% of the race ran under green. Jesper Ullman led the most laps with 23. Biggest move was also Jesper Ullman, who started 22nd and won the race. So if you like those statistics, if you want to keep updated with the PMRL, definitely go check it out on Twitter at official PMRL. And of course Walter Reddit with the pictures from Vilde. Follow Voppzy lowercase iRacing on Instagram too, where Vilde showcases many of her iRacing liveries for teams and drivers if you want to get one made for yourself as well. Instagram is also the place to contact Vilde to do that. So again, Voppzy lowercase iRacing is the place to be. As Taylor Mills in the pits. Let's see what tires went on. The reds have gone on. So 10 laps into this race, it's very early, it has to be said, which is a little bit of a surprise to me. Of course, we do have a little bit smaller field size today. Got the iRacing Le Mans 24 hours last weekend, I've been told. So sports car racing, not really my thing personally, but I can imagine some of these drivers doing that and just deciding to take a few days off to kind of rest again and recharge for the rest of the season. Of course, we also have a drop week for this season, so a number of drivers deciding to take that one right here today. Of course, a drop week means that the worst result or a race that you didn't attend doesn't count towards the championship, which means that you can basically miss a race without any consequence. Some people are a fan of it, some people are not. Personally, I see both sides, but I can also understand why it's so frustrating when you attend every race. Of course, perfect attendance probably should be rewarded as well, but then again, it's just sim racing really. So real life, of course, comes first before this. Unless you're getting paid, then it's the opposite. Oh, Taylor Mills has just slid off again whilst I was looking at the timing and scoring. Of course, just has to do that every time something happens. Taylor Mills skates off in the gravel trap, reverses and rejoins the track. As I try to figure out where this is. This is going out of turn 9, out of turn 10, sorry. Into turn 12 now. Gotta get the dirt off the tires, which should be a few corners from now. But Mills definitely struggling today. Not sure if she got any practice in at all for this race, apart from the warm-up session before qualifying. Or the warm-up before the race. But Back to the leaders, the two SMS cars still in the same order. They started the racing. It is Dinsdale from Will Lyon. Jesper Ehrman up 1 position from qualifying into 3rd. Joel Aguilera up into 4th, up 2 spots. Then we got Matthew Levine, who hasn't gained or lost anything, still in 5th. 3 spots gained for Cesar Gabriel into 6th. 7th is Seb Alexander, who's up 5. Sam Moyle, no gain or loss, into 8th. Or in 8th still, I should say. Then 9th is Brandon Robertson, up 2. Up 3 spots each is Christian Lopez Flaker and Joe Barilla Garcia in 10th and 11th. Then Taylor Mills is down 2. Andreas Eich is down 6 in 13th, but I do not believe he is running anymore. And of course, Conor Naslund with those connection issues. Started 3rd, is all the way down in 14th, being scored there right now. But he is out of the race, so he will not go any further than this. It will be a 14th place for Naslund. And it seems to be a 13th place for Andreas Eich, which is very disappointing. Andreas is one of the drivers very much capable of being at the front, winning races or even challenging for the championship. But luck, of course, is a very important factor in racing and sim racing for that matter as well. And that is one thing that Andreas doesn't really have in most cases, unfortunately for him. So 38 laps to go at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. And whilst we're at it, why not just enjoy some sights and sounds of the Lauer IR18 on iRacing. Alright, back here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car course, it is Leo Garibaldi that's gone into the pits for his first stop. Drops to 12th, but with an 8.3 second stop, which is not very slow at all. It is actually a pretty decent time to be in the pit box. Of course, that's Garcia, not Garibaldi. I'm a little bit confused. I'm so used to saying Garibaldi because he's usually racing. But he is not today, unfortunately. It is Gilberto Garcia who is running a lap down in 12th, of course. Yep. Very sharp, Julian. Great job. Apart from the two leaders, the entire field fairly spread out right now. There's a few seconds between every car basically. Apart from the top two, the closest battle on track is, well, Ehrman and Aguilera. I'm really gonna struggle with that name. I'm so sorry, but I'm really gonna try to get that name right for next week when we go to Michigan. Of course, the second Triple Crown race. The first last week being won by Jesper Urman for Indy Alliance Racing. And that was his second Indy 250 crown in PMRL. And in fact, he was also the first winner to win that race without starting from the pole. Previous 3 editions of that race all had winners that started from the pole too. So that was nice to have some change in that. But of course a great result for Jesper himself and of course the team itself as well, which secured a 1-2 finish. Alright, Seb Alexander in, and safe to say I got the pit strategy completely wrong with the 80% fuel tanks. These cars definitely going a lot further than I thought they would be, but 19 laps is what it took for Seb Alexander to decide to come down into the pits, as he will get red tires on the car for his second stint of the day. As he gets back up to speed through turn 1, very easy to lose the car on the cold tires. Excuse me. There, as the tires of course getting up to pressure and temperature, but there's also a few bumps down there, which with the low tire pressures really wants to unsettle the car. Of course, last season, or the last time we ran here at Mid-Ohio, we saw an opening lap crash, which brought out the pace car for a yellow, which we didn't get today. Very clean race so far today. It is very spread out, it has to be said, 20 laps in. Just 20 laps in, it has to be added. But of course, clean and green is what we want to see. If you want to be involved in this league, then definitely be sure to join the Discord, sign up over there, and you can be on the grid with these drivers at Michigan next week, or of course whenever you are available to do a race. But great bunch of drivers, very competitive racing, of course, as you have been seeing on this YouTube channel, the Primary Racing League channel itself. Of course, next week Michigan, same time, same place, and we'll be turning left for 500 times. The math is correct. 125 laps times 2 is 250, then double that again, yes. So Christian Flaker, the next one to blink, and as he goes in the pits as well, he goes to the Reds. Does go a lap down though with that pit stop, as he rejoins in the 11th, right behind the 21 of Aguilera in the 4th position. So again, that's not for position. Alright, here we go. We got the first leaders to really come into the pits for strategy. Lap 22, 30 laps away from the end. It is Daniel Dinsdale, Jesper Urman and Joao Aguilera first into the pits. Then we got Matteo Lavino also joins them, as well as Taylor Mills. But Taylor about to lose a lap, I think. As Dinsdale stops in his pit stop, first in line. He started from the pole, of course, the race leader. He was before Will Lyon took that over, as they all pitted. But Dinsdale going to the primary black tires out of the pits. Gotta be careful here, and manages to get by the pit exit just about okay as he rejoins. Still in second position, Jesper Urman in third, Aguilera still in fourth, Levine still in fifth. No positional changes whatsoever on the pit cycle. Cesar Cabrel will go to the Reds, I believe, or is he getting damage repaired? I think so. So he goes to the Reds. Sam Moyle in 2 from the primaries to the Reds. So all these drivers trying to get the tire regulations done and dusted with for today. Of course, you have to use both compounds. As Will Lyon now also in. He started the race on the Reds. Let's see if he goes to the primaries like his teammate did a lap earlier. Just a few laps away from halfway. And there we go. Will pulls off and away with fresh fuel and tires on and in the car. As we are getting word that Seb Alexander has passed Cesar Cabrera for P7. Let's take a quick look at that. But Will Lyon, crucially, takes the race lead with a lap overcut on teammate Daniel Dinsdale. So a few Ferrari tactics right here in sim racing. Will going a lap longer to get by Dinsdale without actually having team orders involved. So that's a cheeky way to swap position right there. But let's go to lap 22 and see the move from Seb Alexander on Cesar Cabrel. Cesar goes in a little deep into the corner. Well, let me correct myself, a little deep. Goes very deep into turn 2, the keyhole. As Alexander pulls by without any issue whatsoever. As we go into turn 5 here. Cabrel gets the position back. Loses the position again, sorry. As Alexander has gone on. Wait, this is so confusing. Why is it telling me that Seb Alexander passed Cabrel for P7 when he just went off? Interesting. So anyways, Cabrel goes in deep, locks up. As Alexander goes back by again. It's really hot in my room. I'm just going to blame it on that for the weird logic right now. But the top 2 SMS drivers very close together still after the pit stops. Half a second separating those two. Yes, but Urman not really gaining anything and not really losing anything either. He's just staying where he is basically, which really is what he needs to do. He needs to keep Will Lyon inside, and then he should be good to go on the rest of the ovals, because as we know, Will Lyon is not the strongest oval racer. He is not slow, because he can definitely pull out some good qualifying laps, but over a complete race and getting the results in as well is still something that Will needs to work on. But of course that's the same the other way around for Jesper Urman on the road and street courses. As lately he has gotten a lot better, the sweet Jesper Urman I'm talking about right now, but still not at the level that he needs to beat Will Lyon and the rest of the SMS gang on those road and street courses. But of course Jesper does have that 7-point championship lead, so if he can just minimize the loss of points here today, he should be just fine. Of course we have 2 ovals coming up and 2 road courses coming up. Of course with the pace and results being so similar on those tracks, of course, as we've mentioned so many times, Will definitely strong on the road and street courses, Jesper on the ovals. It really does balance out, so it's really about who makes the least amount of mistakes on the track type where they aren't so good at, because Well, when Jesper runs on an oval, he's usually well inside the top 5 anyway, as he just locks up the inside front there going into turn 12. Almost ended in tears there for him, but luckily it did not. So he's actually gaining time on the leaderboard line right now. Dinsdale dropping back a second from his teammate. As we pick up Matthew Levine now in the 69. Missed a couple of races this season, but he is back again for Mid-Ohio. And currently on for a top 5, which is really where he does finish whenever he does attend. It's always a top 5, pretty much. So with those offs, Taylor Mills is also down 1 lap in 11th. We got Jabril Garcia down a lap in 12th. Then of course we got 2 retirements in Ike and Naslund. Of course, Naslund with connection issues. Ike with an incident earlier in the race. Probably got a little bit too much damage to really continue the race and have it be a point basically. Because why would you keep running in 13th place if you can finish 13th still without running any laps? So Andreas Ike choosing to go home early from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course as we are coming up to 25 laps to go. We are halfway into this race, and as far as I am aware, we are still yet to see one more stop here today. From everybody. Top 10 still running on the lead lap, but it's not going to be long before Christian Flaker is going to be put a lap down. Will Line catching him rapidly. There he is, just in the background there of the shot. Going into turn 5. And 6. Then 7, 8, 9 and 10. This is a very difficult complex of corners. Very difficult to properly commit to it, as I will actually try to showcase right now. Let's go on board with Aguilera going over the hill, over the crest here. Car gets really light, wants to step away from you, then going into this corner again. The rear end gets really light on the drop off the hill, as the car basically on the edge of grip all the way around going into turn 11, turn 12 here. Very easy to lock up with all the bumps involved too. Gotta keep the car tight, keep it on the curb, to then straighten up the exit for turn 13. Down the front straight going into turn 1. Very high commitment corner, but do not overstep it too much. You can hit the curb spin out, or you can hit the little hole in the grass there and damage your front wing, which is very easy to do. I've done that so many times myself, going into the keyhole. The inside line, usually the faster way around with the newer, cooler tires, but when the tires drop off, the outside line and then cutting it back to the inside to get a straight exit is often the fastest way around. This corner right here, turn 3, not really a corner, then turn 4. Downhill braking. And 5. Uphill again, car gets light into turn 6. And that's basically a lap of Mid-Ohio. We were already on board here last lap around. So that shows the challenges of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. Jesper closing in on Daniel Dinsdale. Jesper's pace on the primary is definitely a lot better than Dinsdale, who seems to be struggling for confidence in the car. Maybe I do not rule out some damage whilst I talk about this, because it seems that he is a little down at the end of the straight, so I'm just tripping. That could be the case as well. Let's take a quick look at this. Yeah, yes, but definitely gaining some time, so there could be some aero damage for Daniel Dinsdale. Just a quick conclusion I'm making right now, as the gap is now down to 1.4 seconds. A little correction there for Jesper. Definitely working the car right now, as I've already explained, Mid-Ohio, a very difficult track with all those corners with either bumps involved or elevation change involved, where the car wants to step out and away from you, as we have a lapped car on the racing line that almost ended in tears there. If Jesper wasn't quite as aware as he was, I'm sure that could have easily been an accident right there, but no issues for any drivers, which is good. As a top 5 within 10 seconds of the race leader. Again, Urman closing in on Dinsdale with a nice tank slapper off the corner. Turn to the keyhole. Doesn't really lose any time to Dinsdale in front, which is quite interesting to see. But Jesper definitely more comfortable pushing the black tires around this place than Daniel Dinsdale is, as he was right with Will Lyon on pace in the first stint. In fact, leading this race for the most laps until then the pit cycles happened. And really, since they ran on the primaries, he has dropped off quite significantly. The gap now up to 2.2 seconds in, what is it, 6 laps? As here we go, 22 laps to go inside the fuel window for the final stops. Yes, we're going to get rid of the primaries, and I do assume, it is highly likely at least, that he will go towards the reds again to finish off this race. As Taylor Mills again going off the track. There he goes. Red tires going on. Short of fuel stop than normal, and he is off and away. Also got Taylor Mills in. Oh yes, yeah, Jesper goes off there on the cold tires. And this is not what he needs to do, Jesper. Do not make a mistake whilst you're in the championship fight. As he goes straight on the cold tires. I'm pretty sure that he locked the inside front there as well. Goes uphill for a little bit, but when you get to the apex it actually drops off again. So it's a very difficult corner, very difficult to get your braking point right. Let's take another look at this. Going into turn 2, as we try to grab an onboard view from this. Locks the inside front, goes straight on. And yeah, once you're in the grass and in the gravel, there's no way to really go. Or nowhere to really go, I should say, as he does hit the tire barriers with a little bit of damage. So not going to be great for Jesper. As we will rewind one more time here and look at this. Yep, this camera shows it as well. It wasn't the ideal camera, but it showed the inside front locking up, as we already knew basically. As Jesper Urman back in. Very costly mistake. Dinsdale in the meantime though also pitted, as well as Will Lyon. So those guys good to go to the end on the reds. And Will Lyon with the clear pit out again. Pulls away from teammate Dinsdale. 2 seconds is the gap. So Joao Aguilera leads his first laps in the Prime Video Racing League, first event that he participates in the Arrow McLaren SP IndyCar livery of Pato Award. Gotta say, it's a very impressive drive so far from the 21. Up 5 spots from the start, of course. That's really 3 spots gained because the 2 leaders pitted already, Will Lyon and Daniel Dinsdale. But Garcia in the meantime back in, not Garibaldi, it is Garcia in. Both abbreviated as GAR. As Matthew Levine still yet to pit as well, closing in on Aguilera. As Levine kicks up some dust on the exit of turn 1. It's very easy to run out too wide there, like I already said, going on board with Jesper Ehrman a moment ago. If you hit the little hole in the grass on the exit of turn 1, sorry, going on the run up to turn 2, where you have the alternate mid-Ohio configurations for the oval, the short road course and all of those layouts. There's a little dip in the grass between those alternate layouts, and if you hit that, the wing can get damaged very easily, which will cost you, of course, performance, which is not what you need at a track like this, where it's all sweeping long corners, where you need all the downforce that you can get. Cesar Cabral getting by Seb Alexander for P5. Let's quickly look at this battle for pass for position. Cabral to the outside for turn 4. There he is. Pulls off the pass, very nice and clean on Seb Alexander, who slips to 6th. Still up 6 spots though from the start of the race for him. There we go. Seb coming in for his final stop of the day. 17 to go. As Ehrman at the front of this race. Since the beginning, made that mistake. He will pass Seb Alexander now for 7th, but he is down but 4 spots from where he was, which is very unfortunate as Alexander decides to run the primaries for the final stint. That's a very interesting call, to say the least. As Robertson on the inside now. Also gets by Alexander, who is not up to speed yet on those cold tires. Does get a great run out of turn 2 though on Brandon Robertson. On the push to pass is the 13 trying to defend. It's push to defend, and he does defend that position for now. But Alexander definitely seeming quicker already, despite being on the slower compound and colder compound of tire as well. Almost looked like he went for a move up the hill. Thankfully he didn't. Last time around though, Will Lyon, fresh out of the pits a few laps ago, 1 minute 8.05, fastest lap of this race so far today. Again, no bonus points for fastest laps, but it is a nice statistic to have behind your name. As Matthew Levine now in on lap 37. Red's off and red's going on, I assume. Yes it is, as he is off on the way for the final 15 laps. So I do believe everybody except Aguilera has made their final stops today. From the leader certainly, but yeah, Sam Moyles one that's yet to pit. I think Cesar Cabral. Yeah, Cabral and Moyle yet to pit, and then we also got Robinson who is yet to pit, but everybody else has already made their final stop. As Christian Flaker is burning a push to pass for the sake of it, I guess. He's got 9 pushes left of the button. So once again, if you want to get involved in the Prime Meridian Racing League, you want to drive in this league, there is a Discord link in the description where you can join the Discord, apply to the league and sign up over there too, so you can all get sorted out. And you can be on the grid with these guys racing at, well, 230 miles per hour next week at Michigan. Or Pocono, or if road courses are more the thing at Road America in about a month's time from now. Which of course brings me back to the schedule. Whilst there's not much really happening right now, let's very quickly take a look at this, because anything of course can happen. As we got Michigan next week, like I already said, and we have a week off until Pocono on the 14th of September. Then on the 21st of September we have the final race of the season at Road America. And then, well, we might have a new season, or we have some time off for the winter. Either way, Season 5 will feature the new Indy road course. That's as much as I can tell you. Sam Moyle now in as well for his final stop. There he is, slows down into the pit stall. Red's also coming off. And going back on, a new set of them though, at least. Wouldn't be great if you fit the old tire set on the car, sending it back out, but he rejoins in P7 for now. And actually, let me go to this battle right away, because Seb Alexander, who pitted a few laps earlier, gets in front of Sam Moyle right now on the primaries. Shouldn't be too long for Moyle to clear Alexander back again for that 7th position, but it will be a good lap or two before the tires are up to temperature for him. Of course, the red alternate tires have a very much smaller operating window than the primary black tires do. It's a difference in rubber compound, so not how much air is in the tire. The reds are the softer compound, which is less durable but faster overall, over one lap at least. And then you have the primary black tire, which is a slightly harder or more stiffer compound of rubber, which is a little bit slower, not by too much though, and a lot more durable. It's called the primary tire for a reason, because it's the primary tire that they want to run on. And Sam Moyle back in again just after he pitted. Is that a speeding penalty which will result in his stop go? I think it was. And overshoots the pit stop for good measure as well. Reverses too much. And toes to the pits. So I am pretty sure that there is a speeding penalty for the final stop that he made a lap ago. So unfortunately he will slip down the order. Cesar Kerber now up in the 5th. As Will Lyon extends his lead over teammate Daniel Dinsdale to 3.9 seconds now. And we've got Matthew Levine and Joe Aguilera running very closely together right now. 1.3 seconds between those two. Oh, Aguilera's gone off. First mistake that he's made today, running in the 4th position. And that appears to be Turn 8. I hate how every time I look at the timing screen to see if I missed anything, I missed something. So, well, whilst I was looking for it, let's go and cover this one. Find the right buttons for it. It's great when SDK cooperates with me, but going through 6, 7 and 8, this very technical but fast complex of corners, up the hill, car gets light here, boom, off that little bump up the hill there, the crest it's called, loses the car, skates right into the tire barriers. Of course, when you get into the gravel, there's no way that you can really stop the car, same for grass, and has some small front wing damage, but it shouldn't be significant enough for him to have to pit. He should be good to stay out and get to the end on this front wing and tire set, as he makes his way around 6, 7 and 8 again, out of turn 8, 9 and now into 10, 11 and 12, and turn 13, the final corner here. Now, one thing that will actually help the 21 is the left side of the wing is broken, so where he lost it a lap ago, there's actually less pressure applied to the front of the car, meaning there will be more understeer in the car, which means the car will be less nervous and less twitchy, which means that he will be less likely to spin out again at the same place. Always gonna look at things from the bright side, right? So 9 laps to go, with the top 7 still on the lead lap. Brendan Robinson running an 8th, keeping the car on the track, and he is up 3 spots. Now, I will say Brendan Robinson is not necessarily the fastest driver on any track, but he is definitely one of the more safe and respectful drivers out there. I do not remember him getting into any incidents. And that driving style will pay off in races like today, where the field size is relatively small, but the attrition still is fairly high, as Robinson from 11th up into 8th. And well, with the way that a few people have been pushing this car, might still become 7th or even 6th. We'll have to wait and see, but 8th would be a very good result for Robinson, as we still have the entire SMS team in 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Not sure if this was mentioned previously, but no microphones on pit roads, so no interviews today. After the checkered flag will be going off the air pretty much right away. As Levine gets around the lap car there of Brendan Robinson, that is. Again, very clean, getting out of the way without any issue whatsoever. So, Brendan, definitely a great driver to have in the league. Of course, clean driving is what it's all about in these IndyCar leagues, which is very valued, as Aguilera is being put under pressure by Jesper Urman. 7 laps to go, the 21 are driving around with damage. Of course, we saw that when he went straight on at turn 8 a few laps ago. Jesper also went off at turn 12. Turn 2, sorry, not turn 12. Out of the pits about 6 laps ago. Trying to make up some ground because he wants to minimize the loss of points in the championship to Will Lyon, who is on course to win a race. Again on a road course. As Jesper just has to stay patient, and he should have this position in the bag. Jesper looking to the outside now, gonna try to set up a good run out of turn 2. Gets a good exit out of turn 2, the keyhole. On the push to pass is Joe Aguilera trying to defend the position. Only 2 pushes left for Jesper Urman. Ooh, that was almost contact there between the 2 drivers. The 21 very slow off the corner. Don't think Jesper really expected the difference in traction there out of turn 4. But quickly going back to push to pass, there is 7 pushes left for Aguilera, 2 for Jesper Urman, as Levine just burned 1 as well. Trying to close the gap to teammate. Oh, as Jesper Urman spins again, locks the rears this time. Brake bias too far rearwards, trying to rotate the car through turn 12. And that's gonna cost him dearly. Again, making a mistake. Jesper Urman making those mistakes when he doesn't need to do them. And this is going to be very costly in the championship indeed, as the gap is now 7.2 seconds to Aguilera. With 5 laps to go, I highly doubt that Jesper can make up that ground and pass him again. And Jesper's got to be so frustrated. Won the last race at Indy in a photo finish with teammates, with a teammate, and now ran in 5th, making mistakes pretty much every 10 laps or so, basically. Whether it's small or major like that one. Maybe it's the heat getting to him. It might be very hot in Sweden. Certainly is right here. It's again 30 degrees. Like a few weeks ago. Dinsdale and Levine both using push to pass, but they're just going for fastest laps it seems. Or at least getting anywhere near it, which I don't think they are. The fastest lap is a 1 minute 8.05 by Will Lyon. The closest driver to that lap time is Matthew Levine with a 1 minute 8.2. So I think that fastest lap attempt for Will Lyon is very much secure. As Joel and Jesper both on the push to pass as well. And just 1 and 2 pushes respectively left for those 2 drivers. And the Will Lyon again on course to win a road course race in PMRL. It seems to be, as Valtteri Bottas would say, traditions. Not really a qualifying expert, Will Lyon, but on race pace he is damn near unbeatable in the PMRL. Dinsdale can put up a fight on a good day, but normally is Will winning those races for SMS Racing on the road and street courses. We've got 2 laps to go. White flag for the final lap of this race, just a few corners away. And provided none of these 3 SMS Racing drivers make a mistake, it will be a clean podium sweep for SMS Racing. Seems to be a trend in league racing and IndyCar lately. Of course, we got Indy Alliance getting a 1-2-3 at Daytona in VUR last week, or 2 weeks ago by now. And SMS Racing looking to do the same here today in the PMRL. As the white flag is out, as we got all the 3 SMS cars in one shot there. About 2.5 seconds separating all of them. So 3 more corners to go. Turn 11, 12 and then turn 13. And Will Lyon will once again go to victory lane in the Prime Meridian Racing League. He will win the Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio from second on the grid. Dinsdale from the pole finishes second to complete an SMS Racing 1-2. And then Matthew Levine rounds off the podium for an SMS Racing 1-2-3 podium sweep. As there we go, we got some beautiful lineups there for the pictures for Vilda to make after this race. But yeah, just incredible performance by those 3 drivers. Congratulations to all 3 of them. I'll do it for them. Shout out to Ian Bell for creating the best racing game franchise there is with Project Cars and Project Cars 2. As Joe Aguilera comes across the line in P4, holds on to the position. 2/10 clear of Jesper Ehrman, who got oh so close, but after mistakes finishes, instead of 3rd, finishes 5th. And that really will hurt him, as he does some donuts to have some fun, I guess. But I do not think Jesper's going to be too happy about his race tonight. As Cesar Gabriel comes home in 6th, Seb Alexander in 7th. The final car on the lead lap. Then we got Robinson, Flaker and Moore to run off the top 10. All a lap down. Then we also got Mills a lap down, and then Garcia the final finisher 2 down. Then Ike and Naslin DNFs. So that's going to wrap it up for the PMRL at Mid-Ohio today. We'll just wait for the race results to come up the screen, but before we get those, we'll quickly take a look at the rest of the schedule. So next week is the 3rd oval of the season, the 2nd Triple Crown race at Michigan International Speedway, the 31st of August. Coming up, 125 laps, 250 miles. Then we have a week off again until the 14th of September, the Pocono 250. On the 14th, then we have the 21st, the final round of the season. Might be a championship deciding race at Road America. We'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out with Jesper Ehrman and Will Lyon. But Will Lyon does retake the championship lead after losing it last time out at Indy. So this championship is definitely not over. Tune in again. Same time, same place next week. But of course, before we actually go off, looking at Voppzy iRacing paint for one final time tonight. Of course, Voppzy lowercase iRacing on Instagram is the place to be for your iRacing driver or team liveries for any car, as you can see right here. And they all look fantastic, don't they? Alright, race results are in for the Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, race 5 of the season. Will Lyon and Daniel Dinsdale and Matthew Levine complete a 1-2-3 podium for SMS Racing. We got Joe Aguilera in his first appearance in the league in 4th. Jesper Ehrman after mistakes finishes P5. Costly race in the championship for him. Cesar Gabriel, Seb Alexander, Brennan Robinson, Christian Flaker and Sam Moyle round off the top 10. From Robinson until Mills in 11th, it is all a lap down. Then we got 2 laps down, Jabril Garcia, who is also the final finisher in the race. Then we got Ike and Naslu, the 2 DNFs of the night, with Jessica Saban being an admin. So that's probably going to wrap it up for Mid-Ohio for us here tonight. Like I said, championship race shaping up to be very entertaining and close towards the end. Tune in again next week for Michigan International Speedway. Same time, same place. We'll see you all then. Take care.